right, welcome to day 12 of the Daily Warrior Ritual Challenge. So today is more of continue implementing your new daily routine. And instead of speaking about something different, I want to do some more review and just speaking more about how we could do better with um, not doing better, but reviewing our plans. So, more of a review. So, today is just going to be about um, our plans and getting more organized. So, if you have been following along and you have made your plan, I think on like maybe day two, I would suggest you to go back into your plan and make sure that you're looking at it and becoming more familiar with it and making adjustments. So, you know, making your plan is important and reviewing it and also being aware of what it is that you're doing each step of the way is important. So, when you make a plan and making a goal or a list of things that you want to start implementing and doing every day. So, when you think of rituals, I would like you to think of when you no, when you think of your goals, think of your rituals as a form of taking action on what it is that you want to achieve. And with each goal that you want to achieve, you make them into something that's so actionable that you could do within about, I would say, 15 to 20 minutes a day, and make them more manageable tasks that you can achieve and do each day. And then determine the resources and tools that you'll need to complete the task. So, although you wrote out your plan on day two or day three, I would implore you to go back and to reorganize them, reorganize your plans, and make them even simpler if you could. If you've been doing this along this for this long, for the last 10 to 9 to 10 days, I suggest you to go back and to restructure them a bit. And I would say like refluff. It's kind of like, you know how like when you lay in a pillow and it becomes flat, you want to refluff it to bring it back to life and make it usable again where it's enjoyable. So I would implore you to do the same with your plan. Um, and then you would also utilize a schedule, something that is going to be for you to have a tangible idea of how your day would be. So even if you work in a 9 to 5, you can still schedule it out because you know exactly when you're going to be working. Well, for the most part, it depends if you have a job where you're dependent on someone to relieve you. If that's a bit different, but for the most part, you'll have an idea. But also, you should add yourself that leeway just in case. Let's say, for instance, you do work for someone and you are not sure how long it's going to take you to leave your job. I would say make sure you add that shift that you're waiting for. So let's say you work 8 to 4 and you're not sure when the 4 to 12 is going to come in. I would say add an extra like 4 hours so you could give yourself leeway for if you're not available within a 4 hour time frame of your shift ending. So even if you don't use that 4 hour time slot that you you keep open, you could just add in your routine or whatever it is, family time, as well as your routine. If your routine is to create more memorable moments with your family, that'll be a beautiful way to go about it. So just restructure it because by now you would have a better idea of what works for you a bit more and what doesn't, and just organize as you can. Um, Use a planner or a calendar to keep track of your progress. So if you are someone who has brought the ritual kit, so it's a virtual ritual kit. Um, I didn't add a planner, but there is a calendar. It's not necessarily a calendar, but it's a check off list of the ritual. So that's a part of the kit. As far as a planner, I'm debating if I want to add a planner. It's not going to be. It may. I don't know. I'm playing with some ideas. But as far as planners go, there's many planners you could. There's downloadable planners. There's plan digital planners. There's planners that you could just like. Some people may not have access to certain things, so you could just draw out your own planner, like whatever works for you. If you just like drawing out planners, do that. Whatever works and whatever you have, whatever you could utilize and do at this moment in time, utilize what you can use. Um, Make sure that you're setting aside um, dedicated time for each task. So instead of just doing something, doing whatever task that you know that you have to perform whenever the feeling flows and moves you, set a set time that works for you for next month or so, maybe two. You know, I will always suggest be flexible and realize that certain time periods and certain times of the year is going to work for certain things, but it may not work for like this may work for you right now in the winter, but when summer comes or the springtime comes, this may not work for you. So be flexible and be willing to change and adapt as you can whenever you need to. Identify any potential roadblocks or challenges that may come up and develop a plan to overcome them. So come up with things that come up with a list of what may have happened or may happen or may pop up in your life that may be seen as a roadblock or a situation that you just cannot avoid, and start thinking about ways that you can either deal with them head on or have someone else deal with them where you don't necessarily need to be there to deal with whatever's happening, and evaluate what if it's something that you don't need to deal with, or if it is, how you're going to interact with that, and how you, in different ways that will be helpful for you to tackle whatever challenges that may come your way. Again, stay flexible. Nothing has to be set in stone, and be willing to adjust the plan as needed. This is more of as needed, nothing that needs to always have to stay in one way. So let's say you create a ritual just for this season, for the winter season, and maybe you'll create a mini rituals for like the spring and fall, since those are the smaller seasons that, um, well, depending on where you're living. Um, if you're living in the northern hemisphere or the upper states of the United States, you may experience 4 seasons. But if you're living more in the southern states, you may experience two. And it may get a little chilly in the winter, but for the most part, you don't really experience the full on effects of winter, spring, fall, summer, like in the upper states. Or if you're living in a different continent, I'm not going to assume this is only going to hit Americans. But if this is something that's reaching other regions that experience four seasons, be flexible based upon the seasons and what works for you. And maybe at that moment, if you start feeling some type of like discomfort and you're realizing that this isn't going to work for you anymore, change it. Remember that it's not anything that's set in stone. Do not be tough on yourself when it comes to this. And let's see. Next, set some reminders or alarm to help you stay on track. So in the beginning, you may not remember to, let's say for instance, you have a routine of wanting to have a 15-minute walk at 8:30 in the morning. And normally at 8:30 in the morning, you're scrolling through TikTok before you start working. Whether you're working in your online job, whether you're working in person, whatever it is, set some type of reminders to keep you on schedule, especially if it's something that you need to utilize because you have a fixed schedule and you can't necessarily change it at this moment in time. So set some reminders so you can still keep true to yourself as well as whatever commitments that you have um, agreed to engage in prior to your ritual. Um, and lastly, keep your work area clean, organized to help you stay focused and productive. So this is more for people that, this is for whoever is utilizing this for maybe for work purposes, or for you have an arts and craft area. You know, this isn't necessarily for people that go to the gym and their routine is to they are losing weight and they are at a certain or they're working towards getting to a certain weight, or this is more for people that are creating rituals that need to keep it organized. So as long as they're organized, they're able to execute at a high standard instead of just doing whatever just to get it done. So I just wanted to do a brief overview into, like, sometimes we do need to reanalyze and go over our goals and what it is that we're working towards so we could better refine what it is that we're doing and keep moving forward. So for the next few days, I'm going to be going over some things as far as refreshing our plans, making sure that we're sticking to them, and even setting some new um, manageable tasks based on our experiences. And, like, maybe you should edit certain things out, certain things should go in, certain things should be evolved a bit. So based on you interacting with and doing your goals doing your routines every day, so you could, adapt them to what works for you, and they should continuously evolve. Of course, at its core, it should stay the same, but evolve it so it works for you and is flexible based on your schedule and what you're doing. Okay, so I hope that helps. Stay tuned. I will speak to you all on day 13 of the Daily Warrior Ritual Challenge. Take care.